Brendan, how many girls, not to call you out right on the pod here, but how many girls have you fed some bullshit to? Meanwhile, you're boning 3 other ones. But you remember when I brought up the sixth sense? I'm sensing it right now.
I see dead people.
Josh, I don't know why you have 3 caps on because you...
Whoa, what? Guys, don't be like my friend here.
All I know is I think it's crazy how girls be roasting us for our hobbies, like playing video games. And y'all's hobbies are literally plastic surgery and going through people's phones. That's all I know. Oh, did we want to talk about it?
Yeah, we do.
Going through people's phones? Yeah, take a shot. Yeah, go ahead, take a shot, Sid. Go ahead, take a shot. And my whole thing is, look, if they're talking to somebody, you're gonna be salty. If they find out you were going and you didn't find anything, you're gonna be salty. It's just a lose-lose game to me, at least.
The objective of going through the phone is to find shit out, and no one does that better than Miss Flora.
This is a while back, but
Like
so when I was in high school, I was like very seriously like dating this guy. Everything had been fine with us. Like, we had been on like good terms. And so I was like living in upstate New York at the time. And me and him had been planning to go like hike this mountain thing, whatever, one day. I mean, that's what you do when you're in love. So yeah, so me and him had been like planning to go on this like hike or whatever. So I go to pick him up in my car, right? My car, I'm driving. I look over as I'm talking to him and I see that he's like texting, right? And I see he's texting like these like emojis, like these like hearts and like smiley faces and stuff. And I look at him and I go, who are you texting?
He better be talking to his mama.
The way in the same car.
He was like, yeah, like I'm texting Anthony, and I was like,
hey, I love all my homies.
I go, give me your phone. He hands it to me, right? Whoa. This motherfucker changed this bitch Stephanie that I was friends with in high school, right? I was like, not like best friends with her, but I was like decent friends with her, right? Changed her name in his phone to Anthony, his best friend's name, so that when he was texting her, I would think he was texting Anthony.
Who's Domino's Pizza?
I'm reading these messages and they're like, this bitch is on vacation. And he's like, oh yeah, when you get back, like, let's hang out, come over, like blah, 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 blah. All this crazy shit. And I'm like, get the fuck out of my car. I leave him in the middle of the road. I don't care. I'm like,
as she should.
Literally at like a light. I'm like, get the fuck out of my car. And I drive back to my house. He shows up at my front door like hours later, begging me to forgive him.
So nowadays, like when you see like someone else texting, like do you get like kind of uptight about it? Like, does it make you want to look at their phone more? Like, are you
We haven't been serious in quite some time.
Like
No, I mean, the thing is, like, I mean, if now, like, yeah, when I think back on that, I'd kind of be like, oh yeah, like, remember that one time? It didn't like scar me or like traumatize me for life, but it's just kind of like a thing to like keep in the back of your head. Like, okay, this is what he did. He like literally put this person's name as his friend's name. And it's like, you just kind of learn like the tactics and you're like, all right, well, going forward, let me make sure I watch out for that.
OP, has anyone ever gone through your phone, bro?
She went through my phone, but I passed a litmus test because black men don't cheat.
Hey.
That's facts. Black men don't cheat. And
unless you're Tristan Thompson.
My phone was scot-free. And I passed the test, and I got to beat that night. I was fine. I didn't know until like a year later when I was like, "You ever been to my phone?" She was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Wait a minute, how do you know my password? And when was it?" She's like, "You were in the shower and you left your phone there," and I went through it.
Bro, if I'm not going through your shit, why are you going through mine?
I got nothing to hide, dog.
No, but you understand that point though? Like, why would if I'm not going through your shit and I'm comfortable with you having your privacy on that phone, if you're not doing anything, what do I have to worry about?
Well,
not saying that Victoria was wrong because her like instinct kicked in.
Some people have that, those bad experiences from past relationships, right? So like obviously that shit is gonna bleed into the next one, and they might not want that shit to manifest in the new one, but sometimes it does, right?
What are the things that you guys would say?
Yeah, because you guys are super clever.
That makes these instincts kick in? Like, what are some
So
like
here's-
things you've
here's-
gone through that make that shit kick in for you?
I'm not kidding. It's like a sixth sense. They can even be
Yeah.
like 300 miles away, and I will be like, something's up. Pull out my laptop. There it is. I'll figure it out.
I
I'm not
swear,
kidding.
I can confirm it is true. It is like, not everyone has it. It's
I more so stock and I wouldn't even call it stock. It's more so research. I would research.
No, you're a stalker. You're a serial killer. You call it research. If you call it reconnaissance, you're a serial
This ain't no damn term paper.
Science class.
Research.
I will
Like
more
it's
so
Spetsnaz,
research.
Russian mafia.
Listen, I am more adamant to researching a guy that I am just newly talking to rather than someone that I'm so-called with for
Hooking
a
up
long
with.
term.
You gotta drop the research word. All right.
It's
No,
research.
it's
You
research.
research.
You
It's a
meet
job.
someone. It's not a job. It's not a job.
Lauren, here's the thing.
So it's a job to watch your man.
You don't get paid for this.
Research
It's a job to watch your man.
It's a
If
Not
you
even
do
not even your man, your prospective man that you just
Yeah.
met.
that's when it's the worst. That's when it's the worst. That's
You
when
guys
they
are like
give you
scouters.
most bullshit.
That's when you're the worst.
You guys hear me out. Seriously, hear me out.
Yeah, you guys are like scouts.
Man does not open door for woman. Suspect.
When you are newly involving yourself with someone, that is when the most bullshit is spewed. That is
And like you have to
when
let it happen though.
you
let it
have to
happen.
protect yourself, dude, or you will get fucked.
you do.
You will get fucked.
You
like,
will get
especially
fucked.
in today's society, like social media, the options,
dating
dating
apps,
apps, the access. Like, you have got to fucking check your shit, or you will end up getting played. 90% of the time, when you're talking to someone, you end up finding out at a later date that they were fucking playing you.
Wouldn't you just say that the dudes that y'all fuck with just ain't shit?
No,
Oh no,
because how is that? How is it that like
absolutely.
it's like
They're not
every
shit.
girl you talk to, they say the same
fuck?
thing. Like, oh, so
Every
you
girl?
just happen to run across all these girls that like they have the same problems.
So the men that
It's
they
not
fuck
the
with is
girls that are
shitty.
bad. It's not the girls that are their problems. It's
No.
not.
You didn't hear me. You didn't hear me. I said that the men that y'all choose ain't shit.
So
You're all bad.
So all the girls that we're friends with just happen
Mess
to
with
pick
ain't
men that
shit
ain't
dudes.
shit?
Yes.
You're
I
all
don't
bad.
believe
I bet you. Hey, listen. I bet you if you put like 5 in front of me, and we both like,
Go
if-
ahead.
if we put 5 in front of me right now that you used to fuck with, and you tell me like what the situation was, what happened, I can tell from their character that they're a piece of shit. How about that?
The
Is that
thing
not
is,
true?
though, Brendan, I'm also just as bad. We're all bad. Because you have to fucking catch the shit before the other person.
But
I
when you're
think you
not
should be
even
on it all times.
wait, but when you're not even dating, is it really fair to like you guys
Yes,
aren't
yes.
together?
Absolutely.
You're not together. Like
100%.
until you get that
cannot
commitment.
get played.
But how is it played? You guys aren't together.
If I ever got legitimately played, I would go lay in the middle of the
Oh, I
street.
would. No.
Can you be played if you're not together?
Yes.
Yes. Oh
Yeah,
my
of
God.
course.
Like,
You good.
I-
Come on, Josh.
I would give my left.
Come
hand.
on,
I would give
Josh.
my left hand.
Enough to go
I,
through
like,
somebody's
love you so
phone.
much. You're so hot. I'm not seeing anybody else. Like, blah, 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 blah.
And like like you go on their
Someone's
profile and like
phone?
they have like girlfriends. Like it's like
How about
like they
this, though?
literally
How
like
about
have
this, though?
posted with their
How
girlfriend.
How about
like,
this
a
though? How
long
about this
board.
though? I kind of feel like this kind of ruins things for a lot of other men that really don't have the intention of really cheating or doing anything. They really just want to find out who you are and what you're about. Because sometimes like,
none.
I hate the fact that
Slim
like,
to none, she says.
Slim to none, I said.
I mean that's
Slim
just
to
your
none.
Brendan,
your
I know
interpretation.
you.
This is
yeah.
a
How
really
what? Yeah. What? How?
this is a really jaded perspective on the world, isn't it?
Brendan, how many girls, not to call you out right on the pod here, but
Oh.
if we're being honest, how
good.
many girls have you fed some bullshit to? Meanwhile, you're boning 3 other ones.
Oh, I never.
Or
Done that.
another one, or just one other one.
I've
It
never done
doesn't
that.
matter. You've never fed some girl some bullshit,
No.
and then
No,
you're
because, hey,
you're
no,
doing a
because
totally
listen,
different
because
thing.
listen, no,
I
no,
do
no.
it all the
I'm
Don't
the
be
type of
coy.
person.
Don't be coy now.
Don't be
I'm the
coy.
type of person.
be
I'm the type of
coy.
person. I'm the type of person that if I'm fucking with somebody, it's really only them. And then if it's not that, then I just move on from the situation. That's definitely
Josh brought 3 caps out.
I need a cap right
Brendan,
now.
that is
okay,
caps
dude.
on
You
my
guys
set.
are funny
where's
because
my
I definitely
Adidas
told
cap?
you that, and I definitely told stories to Oren too. Like that, I move in a certain circle. If I'm single, I can do whatever the fuck I want. But at the same time, if I'm talking to somebody, I don't move like that. Josh, I don't know why you have 3 caps on because you.
Whoa, what? Guys, don't be like my friend here.
Brendan, we haven't had direct conversations, but you remember when I brought up the 6th sense? I'm sensing it right now.
I see dead people.
It's coming to me. And I'm starting to feel like you might tell some girls one thing and do another, perhaps.
Okay. What is it that I do?
Moving on.
Nah, because Sydney wants to know like she's been in my phone or something, which I know she hasn't.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, but I'm
I'd
just
love to go
saying
through it
though.
if you'd allow
I'm just
me.
saying though, to keep it a bean, Oren, you've also been in the chat too.
Nigga.
I would like to refrain from being a part of this conversation.
Okay,
This
that's
is between you
fine.
two.
Because that's just how it is for
Here's
me.
the thing.
Wait,
Let's not
I'm
lose
always
sight
left
of what's
alone.
important.
Perhaps I
I
should.
just-
Hold on.
Do you want me to tell the story about
Let's-
the
No,
marriage?
no stories here.
I
We
wish
need
not to
not-
incriminate anyone. Is my main.
We need to not lose sight of the fact that the bottom line is when you first start talking to somebody, and I don't mean the first, I mean day one, you have to do your research. Typically day one, I find is mom's Facebook, dad's Facebook, siblings Facebook.
That's not research, dog.
Wait, hold
That's
on.
stalking.
Wait.
That's CIA shit, bro.
Wait, I need
So
to.
crazy
No,
ass.
You said that so casually.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Victoria.
Yeah.
Let's hear this story.
No, so when I was living in Jersey City, I met this guy. I was like going into the city on like the PATH train, and like I was going out with my friends. This guy like approached me. He like came up to me on the train and was like talking to me. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go out with this guy at all. Like had no interest in it. And so I like eventually like I like go out. I will preface it with saying like I hate going out on dates. I think it's so awkward.
bad.
It's so awkward. I can't stand it. I'd rather meet somebody and kind of be like, oh yeah, like
lay in the middle of the road.
like lay in the middle of the road. Maybe
You don't
yeah,
do dates?
I hate going out on
dates.
I hate it. I think
With
it's
someone that you
so-
don't really know that well.
Yeah,
is what
it's
you
very
mean.
nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
for sure. It's very
Yeah,
nerve-wracking.
yeah.
That well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like meeting them for the first time.
And you're like, oh, I have to go out on like a blind date with this person, and you're like, oh, I don't know
No.
what to talk. I
Yeah.
hate like
That's
that.
why you get like
giving
drinks
a
or something.
That's like giving a presentation to your college
It
class.
really is. It feels like you're like you have to prepare what you have to
like,
say.
oh, what do you do for work? Oh, what do you?
Oh,
like,
it's horrible.
That's why you go and get
I
drunk.
hate it. I hate it.
carry
So-
on.
So what do you
Yeah.
do?
So I'm
That's
like, oh
always
my
the
God,
universal question. So what do you do?
I'm like at work dreading going out with this guy, and finally I'm like, all right, like I'll go out with him, right? So I go out with him and I end up like really, really liking him. I'm like, this guy, he is like the
Nice.
one. I am like,
Nice.
I'm not even
Wow.
looking to be in a serious relationship, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did everything right. I waited so long
She
to
cooked
fuck.
him dinner.
I
She
waited
cleaned the
so no.
bathroom.
I waited so long to fuck this guy. I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna wait forever. I'm
She
gonna wait
waited 6 months, made him meatloaf every night, cleaned his bathroom day in and
everything.
day out.
I did it all. And finally,
You liked him a lot. You
Oh
liked
my
him a
God,
lot. Why'd you wait? Why'd you wait so long? What was the reasoning?
because I was like, oh my God, like if I wait, like he'll like love me, like
Oh, okay, gotcha.
this is tactic. Like I had
Okay.
to wait, like I had to make
Gotcha.
him want it. I finally fucked this guy. I leave the next day and I'm like,
I'm married.
I'm like, I fucked up. So he tells me, I go over to his apartment the next night after. I'm
My
like,
honeymoon.
The 6th sense kicked in.
I'm like, what? Like, I'm gonna go stalk the fuck out of his Instagram.
Took 5 minutes.
Took
to find out
5
he was
minutes to
engaged.
realize this guy is engaged. He was
What did you
engaged.
see?
I
What
went
did you
on.
see?
So when I was at his apartment, he had pulled up his Netflix account,
Mm.
and I noticed
First
that
telltale.
the email address
Mm.
was not his.
Mm.
I didn't think anything of it at the time. I was like, oh, maybe it's like
I've
his
been there.
mom's, like whatever.
But it stays in the mental
But it's
notebook.
in the mental
Yeah.
notebook.
It stays. You pull it out
Yeah.
later.
Easily.
Pull it out later. You keep it in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Mm.
Side
So
note,
I'm like, wait.
that's I get caught like that a lot. I don't sign out of shit. And I'm too broke. I got hella people's Netflixes.
Josh,
I got
let
hella
me-
people's
what's the
Hulus.
fiance's email? Let's
So
not
I'm like, wait a second. A Munez, right? So I'm like, let me go on
So you
Instagram.
connected the dots with the
Yeah, let me go
name.
on his page. Let
I
me go on his page.
immediately find the girl's Instagram, right? So I start looking through it. She has all these photos of herself with an engagement ring, like the what do you call it? Like the not honeymoon, but like the like engagement moon thing where you're like, oh, you get engaged and you go on this like big vacation after. And I'm like, dude, I started intentionally leaving like my underwear under his bed and stuff. I swear to God, I would leave hair clips, I would leave hair ties.
Wait. Here I'm confused. So you were leaving those things under his bed after you found out he was engaged?
Yes.
No, I didn't know if
I'm
he
weak
was
as
like, I knew he had been engaged, but I didn't know. He told me that they were broken up.
It took further research.
He
some
told
might
me
say.
they were broken up. I'm not saying that. Let me clarify. The photos of them being engaged were not from like at the time when me and him were going out. It was like from before. But he had failed to mention to me like, oh yeah, me and my fiance lived together and we were basically about to get married and we broke up. He like failed to mention that part of everything.
Wait, so you were mad? I thought this whole time he was engaged currently. You're saying you're mad that he didn't tell you that he was engaged?
Well, I mean, we don't know. Like, I mean, the thing is, like, to this day, we still don't know. But
You don't know?
I don't know.
I mean, he doesn't have pictures of like him and his wife on the wedding day. He doesn't have pictures of like them like doing.
Did
life
they
and-
get married,
So
or
he-
they just
Wait a
engaged?
second. This is
What?
a plot twist to the story. So you don't know for sure if he was engaged to
No, he was definitely engaged to the girl. Like 100%, they were.
No, but at the
engaged.
time that you were boning him, was he engaged to the girl or no?
I don't know if they were like still together at the time, but he told me they weren't. So I don't know if they really were or not. But
I never
Either
knew
way,
this.
she has a ring.
Check this bitch
Did
right
you?
now. What's her
Hold
name?
on. Oh shit. But
I mean, let's.
We
find
got a
out
live-
for
we got a
sure.
live,
Wow,
folks.
we're about to get a live
Investigation.
I-
Live investigation. I'm gonna play some music.
Let's see.
No, I've kept up with it. I've kept up.
Instagram to find out if the man is engaged.
Wow.
Does
She's
Sydney
wearing the
keep
ring.
doing
She's
that?
right. Victoria's
Yeah.
correct.
I've definitely had some like toxic shit happen to me, but I will tell you that this situation with like the engaged thing, it was the most toxic thing that has ever happened to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you should definitely, it should always be a red flag when a man approaches you on the New Jersey PATH train or
Yeah,
any public transit
I mean, you know,
for that matter.
that's true. Like,
Now, can I ask you guys a question? Would you guys ever be the person, since you were put in that situation, to reach out and be like, I'm coming to you as a woman?
Would you like
And
me
what
to
was-
explain?
And what was, before you do, what was holding you back from being that woman, Victoria?
I just,
Just too much drama. You just didn't want to be put in the middle of it.
yeah, I think I had just honestly at the time that I started talking to this guy, I had like just started my new job and
Mhm.
I had just moved to the city, well, to like Jersey City, which I guess is like kind of the city, but I was like, I just like kind of want to be completely removed from the situation. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. I didn't want anything to do with it. And I was like, I don't really care like what happens with him. I don't care what happens with this girl. I just like, I don't know.
I would have 100% told her.
I-
for
I-
two
uh,
reasons.
You
No.
were bamboozled and led astray, is what you're saying.
For sure. Like I definitely feel like I was played. Like I mean,
Oh, yeah,
I
you
was
were, yeah.
played, but I was
Like a fiddle.
played. I will say it. I was played, but
Bongo drum.
I figured it out. I figured it out before I was really like really played.
Mm.
So
Now, Sydney, you said that you have been in that situation before.
The guy wasn't engaged, and I kind of. So, would you like me to
Yeah, let me
Elaborate.
hear. Yeah.
How much
So-
meatloaf were you making?
Oh, I love meatloaf, but I didn't make any. I don't know how to
I'd
make
never
meatloaf.
make it. I would never.
I
make
also
a meatloaf.
love how that was the meal, the dish you decided
meatloaf.
to bring up to like prove how much you like this man was the meatloaf.
Let me take this meat and this meat and combine
Listen,
make a
guys,
loaf.
don't talk
And
shit
make a
about
loaf.
meatloaf. It's one of my favorite dishes.
I love meatloaf, but I would never make a
I
damn
love
meatloaf.
you. I made meatloaf for you.
So
Betrayed me.
No side dish,
She
just a
said,
loaf.
she said, baby,
of meat.
you ever seen a burger patty? I'm gonna make it more like a cake, okay? For you, baby.
meatloaf slaps. Meatloaf slaps.
Oh, I
I'm
love
not
a
kidding.
nice meatloaf.
Oh man,
Me
meat of
too.
loaf.
Maybe we'll get
A
loaf of
maybe
meat.
Loaf of meat.
maybe Victoria will make us a meatloaf one day. We'll see what the big deal is.
You better make use
Dessert
of
fruit cake.
I mean, I whipped
But-
up some nice steaks last night, didn't I?
That's true.
Oh wow.
Yeah, turn up.
I mean,
You still
I
were cooking
would-
meatloaf.
see?
No. Hey,
That's
so
why.
any-
That's why he was.
Hey,
Meatloaf is
Let's-
very
let's-
white. Meatloaf is very white.
Let's
I
keep
It is.
feel.
I love a meatloaf.
is,
Though.
it's
I
so
love a
white.
meatloaf.
Yeah, meatloaf is cool. But Sid,
But
you were
it's
gonna
not
say-
like if my shorty was like, "I'm making you meatloaf tonight, baby." I'd be like, "All right."
No, I used to say
You're
that,
like,
but it
"Thanks."
isn't good. Like
So
every
we can have
once in
no
a
wings?
while, it's kind of like.
Yeah, is this like the hungry dinner, like the Hungry Man TV dinner, or what? Like, how you
No.
prepare
Oh
this?
no, absolutely not.
Hey, all I know is any dude out here, if Victoria didn't cook you no meatloaf, she didn't give a fuck about you, dog.
That's true.
She didn't care. She didn't care.
But Sid, you said that you were in a situation where you
Oh sure.
where you were the woman that spoke up. But yeah.
Well, so my situation is far more different than Victoria's, and I seeked revenge, unlike her. But I did, yes. So I was talking to this guy for like 2 years. You guys know who he is, but we won't say names.
Yeah.
I was talking to him for like a year, right? And probably like 5 months in of us talking, he was like, I want a girlfriend or whatever. He wasn't asking me to be his girlfriend, but it was kind of came up in like casual conversation. I was like, oh yeah, like I'm fucking 21 years old. Like I don't want a boyfriend. Like I'm just like having fun, whatever. Like I was like wasn't even thinking about it like that. Anyways, long story short, he ends up getting this girlfriend. Probably like a year into us like texting, talking, hanging out, whatever you want to call it. I get pissed because I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Like, where's my entertainment? Like, I was like, this sucks. So he gets this girlfriend, which I don't know how I missed it, but I did. But he gets this girlfriend. He tells me that he has this girlfriend. So I'm like, okay. He continues to hit me up like every couple months. He would hit me up like whatever, but not often. Like I would send him shit here and there, and he most of the time like wouldn't respond. Sometimes he would, but like most of the time not. Long story short, this time last year, he started texting me like a lot more than he was prior. And I was like, okay, he's bored with his girlfriend. Like I was like, he's obviously not being satisfied. So I started entertaining it. And I curated a plan to move on in, some might
The
say.
devil.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being honest. I'm not like one to,
Not being coy.
I'm not being coy. I'm not.
Coy.
I
Never
curated
coy.
a plan. You guys know my friend Alec. Alec and I sat down. We curated, drew something up, and so I started entertaining this guy heavily, and probably around like August. He doesn't live in Columbus, but lived in Indianapolis, and I drove there to see him, and he still had this girlfriend at the time, but he was telling me that shit was like on the rocks. He was like, shit is not good. Like, this is like, we're about to break up, blah, blah, blah.
It's just cool.
I drive to Indianapolis. I hang out with him. Alec and I had the perfect plan. I was going to act like I was this like nice, mature, like I'm a new person. I want to like see this through. Like like whatever. Moral of the story, we 100% wanted him to just break up with his girlfriend. So he gets off work and he texts me and he's like, come meet me. Like, I'll pick you up. Let's talk. So I go outside. We sit and talk in his car for like 3 hours. Long story short, I go home to Columbus. Nothing happened. Nothing physical happened. He's still with his girlfriend, but they're like kind of having problems, whatever. I get home. I continue to play the innocent, genuine. I'm mature now, like whatever. It's been a couple years. Like whatever. I've changed. He fucking falls for it. Ends up inviting me back to Indianapolis. I go back to Indianapolis, but he told me that he had broken up with his girlfriend. Okay, before I got to Indianapolis, he told me he had broken up with his girlfriend. Because here's the thing, I'm not dumb. The psychology behind it, he had been dating this girl for 1.5 years. If I were to fuck him while he was dating his girlfriend, Josh, shut the hell up. If I were to fuck him,
Josh.
So something was up. The sixth sense set in. And I was like, wait a second, like something's up. He started acting differently. I was like, what the fuck? So I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, mind you, I know this guy. I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why are you acting like this? Well, I'm like harassing him. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? He's like, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. And I'm like, you're being fucking weird. Like, take me to my hotel. So we're like driving to like where I'm staying with Alec, because Alec came with me. We're driving to where I'm staying, and the whole car ride, he's being a fucking weirdo. And I'm like, Josh, shut the hell up. Yeah.
Getting me weak.
And I'm like, what is going on? Why are you being so weird? We pull up to my hotel. Alec is like in the hotel room. We pull up and he goes, well, I guess this puts me in the cheating category. And I go, wait a second. This was not a part of the plan, first off. Second off, what the fuck do you mean? Like, I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, he's acting really upset. And I'm like, again, you cannot trust anything. Like,
Shit, I thought you might say the N word for a second.
No.
I trust these.